We're at the part of the life cycle of silver and gold, the bigger trend, where they're going to get more. They're going to get more because the world has changed. So, give you an example. Call it November to January. Every November to January, there is fresh money coming into this market, all markets. And how that money gets allocated determines how much higher, if at all, your market goes.
VinceLanci, publisher at Gold Fix Stack, discusses the intriguing interplay of geopolitical events and market positioning as we transition from the selling season to the buying season for metals. The current situation in the Middle East, including escalating tensions in Israel, is driving significant gains in the gold and silver markets. Investors are seeking safe havens in response to the growing chaos in the region, recognizing the need for protection in uncertain times. The gold market is on high alert as we monitor the possibility of Israel launching a ground invasion in the Gaza Strip. Such an event could trigger another gold price surge, as Rodda noted. In the Middle East, gold often experiences an increase in value, with silver initially lagging. Both gold and the US dollar are considered safe havens during such periods of turmoil. The calls to reduce reliance on the US dollar for international trade are growing, with an increasing number of countries advocating for the use of alternative currencies. Given the significant role of the US dollar in pricing and trading most commodities, any shift away from the dollar can impact its value. Several countries, from Brazil to Southeast Asian nations, advocate for trade in currencies other than the US dollar. In this scenario, gold and silver may become more appealing as investments. However, Vince points out it's important to note that governments and central banks may intervene to prevent these precious metals from significantly outperforming the dollar. The dynamics between geopolitical events and financial markets continue to shape investment decisions in the weeks and months ahead. Before diving into VinceLanci's interview, subscribe to our channel and give this video a big thumbs up.
We're at the part of the life cycle of silver and gold, the bigger trend, where they're going to get more. They're going to get more because the world has changed. So, give you an example. Call it November to January. Every November to January, there is fresh money coming into this market, all markets. And how that money gets allocated determines how much higher, if at all, your market goes. Our market is silver. Historically, silver does not get a lot of allocation in this futures market anymore. That's because the market's been broken. I will say that's in no small part because of the market structure and the fact that you have essentially an oligopoly between a small group of players that can control price accidentally or not accidentally. 22 was an example of that. I'm sorry, the end of 21, beginning of 22. Everybody started putting their money into gold and silver, but during this buy season, but not as much as in previous years because Bitcoin was everyone, oh, Bitcoin's up, Bitcoin's $40,000. And at the end of 21, going into 22, all that money that was being allocated, less money into silver, less money into gold, more money into Bitcoin. And that bubble popped. And last year, we had a very nice example of money returning to the king, right? This year, I love this. Look, I like to throw water on things. Guys, this is where we were last year after the funds puked, coming into buy season. This is where we are this year after the funds puked. From a year-to-year basis, this is phenomenal. This is phenomenal, which leads me to say that higher highs, higher lows, there's trend. It also leads me to say that the buying that we had down here from India, we probably won't have that type of buying again. Don't look for that buying. You're going to have some buying. It'll be American investors, but there'll be other buying, not American, Diwali-based. I don't know. There's something going on in China. Wedding season, I think. I'm not sure. Anyway, so there's going to be other buying. In October, there's buying out of India. I'm sure that Diwali season starts, and then before you know it. So it's kind of like everyone's holiday shopping now. Now, there's one thing that I'm worried about on the silver side, although I'm not really that worried about it. Just be aware that the U.S. Mint is going to have new coins coming out, new silver eagles coming out, and you're going to say, oh, that could be bearish. No, it won't. It'll be bearish for premiums. It won't be bearish for the market. People will be more aware of it, and they'll buy them quicker, like Costco. Okay, so sell season is over. We're in the corridor, the hallway, the on-ramp to buy season. Does buy season mean we're going to infinity? No, it just means the chances of us going up are 90%. The chances of us going down by the end of it are 10%. How high we go, don't know, but that's how it works.
In January 2023, the price of gold reached a 6-month high, continuing a pattern observed over the last few decades. Historically, gold prices tend to experience a rise at the beginning of the year and during the spring months, followed by a summer drop or lull, and then another rise towards the end of the year. Some experts link this price fluctuation to seasonal changes in global demand for gold and suggest that these patterns also often influence silver prices. In terms of silver, the outlook for 2023 suggests that silver investment is poised to reach historically high levels. However, it's worth noting that the first half of 2023 witnessed a significant unwinding of positions by institutional investors. This action was triggered by a sharp price spike in late April, followed by a pullback, causing silver to underperform compared to gold. This trend may also be related to shifts in investor sentiment and market dynamics. Vince has pointed out that silver doesn't receive as much investment as it used to within this seasonal trend, despite the positive overall trend in investment.
Gold rallies in a Middle Eastern war. Silver lags. We saw that. But silver usually lags more than this, guys. Silver usually behaves a little bit more like copper, at least for the first week. So that's very good, number one. Number two, gold and the dollar rally, right? Safe haven. The dollar usually rallies more than it has in the past. During a crisis, you're a rich Arab dude in the Middle East, you see the bombs coming, you go, you call your broker, you say, fuck it, put half my money into silver, put half my money into gold, and put the other half into dollars. That's what you do, right? That's three halves. They have a lot of money. And the dollar and gold compete as safe havens. And silver gets taken along for the ride, but, slower to react. Held back by economic shorting, held back by people saying, oh, it's economic, all that other crap, right? This year, the dollar did not go up as much as gold. That's because there's less money going into dollars. This won't be a switch. The death of the dollar dominance ends with a whimper, not a bang. They're not going to have an announcement. It's just going to happen slowly. And it'll happen every time I'm a guy in the Middle East, or I'm a guy in China, I'm a guy in the BRICS. I have a treasury. I'm not going to sell. Okay, a lot of them are selling treasuries, but I'm not going to sell my treasuries, right? Because they're my safe haven. I'll wait for maturity, right? And every time a coupon comes, I get my dividend. What do I do with that money? It's in dollars. Well, fuck, I don't need all these dollars anymore. I'll put half in gold. I'll put a third into yuan. I'll put a third into rupees. And those dollars just kind of get orphaned out there. Nobody wants them anymore. And the Fed's got to go, oh, I'm going to raise interest rates to get them back in. They need to stabilize the dollar. And every time a coupon comes due on my treasury, I'm putting that money in the gold. So over time, treasuries will drop, which we've seen. Dollar ownership will drop, and gold and silver ownership will rally. That's how it happens. This market will be so much higher over the next 5 years. I know people are always blowing that smoke up your ass. Tomorrow never comes. Tomorrow's here. It's here. But they're not going to let it go up infinity in a day. They can't do that. You can't have the competition take you out in the headlines. As long as prices broadcast, they will not let gold and silver appreciate to their, let me say this in a different way. As long as the dollar is the global reserve currency, treasuries are the global reserve asset, and the U.S. dollar pricing of these commodities is broadcast globally, they cannot afford to have these markets outperform the dollar in times of crisis. That's how it works. Now, why am I saying that? Because last week, China announced that they're no longer broadcasting prices in dollars in China, or at least in one section of China, which means you're no longer seeing the COMEX tape in China. You're no longer seeing an arbitrage based on a COMEX representation. You're seeing their exchange. They're changing exchanges. The world's changing. So when you wake up one day and CNBC has silver in your renminbi, and you could say, okay, let's see what the price of silver does now.
As of the latest update, silver prices have experienced a mild retreat from their recent peak, settling at $22.82. This pullback follows a surge in silver prices due to the escalation of the Israel-Hamas conflict. Silver's performance has been constrained by its significant drop from the August peaks around the $25 mark. VinceLanci's observations indicate a positive trend in silver investment in 2023 compared to the previous year, suggesting that higher prices may be on the horizon. Is this year's positive trend in silver investment sustainable, and what factors will shape the future of the precious metals market in the coming months? Share your thoughts in the comment section. If the video resonates with you, join our community by subscribing to our channel and enabling notifications with the bell icon. Thank you for being a part of our community.